What are some creepy or explicit facts about the human body? I don't know if anyone has mentioned this, but the tissue in your mouth is the same as in the vagina. Do with that information what you will. That's why people enjoy oral pleasure so much. The average speed of male ejaculation is 43 kilometers per hour. That's why it's forbidden to ejaculate near a school. I think there are many more reasons why it's forbidden to ejaculate near a school. Almost every hand you've ever shaken has held a penis at some point. That's why I go straight to the point and shake the penis. If a pregnant woman dies, the gases produced in her body can expel the baby. This phenomenon is called post-mortem birth. When studying archaeological excavations, people often mistakenly assume the woman died due to childbirth because of this. If you sprinkle sugar on a prolapsed rectum, it will retract. From the University of Michigan Health System, if you can't manually retract a prolapsed rectum, sprinkle it with granulated sugar and wait 15 minutes before trying again. The sugar will absorb excess water, causing the rectum to contract. Make sure to use granulated sugar. Sugar substitutes won't work. The first cells developing in a human embryo form the anus. Some people can experience orgasms through thoughts alone. This is called a mental orgasm. These individuals achieve orgasms through breathing, moaning, and imagination. The anus can stretch up to 14 centimeters without serious damage, while a raccoon can fit into a hole as small as 6/7 of a centimeter. Therefore, your anus can accommodate 2 raccoons and a Jolly Rancher candy. Just be careful with the raccoons. Those guys bite, and the candy might fall out. You can stop hiccups by sticking a finger in your anus and massaging the rectum. I think you're joking, but the next time I or my buddy have hiccups, I'll try it. For science. Forget it, I tried it on my buddy, but my hiccups didn't go away. Some people get anal prostheses, and if you have one, it can hold a couple of raccoons. And a Jolly Rancher candy. There are particles of human feces almost everywhere. Once, the Mythbusters conducted a test to see if a toothbrush would be cleaner if stored in a cabinet. They also had control devices in other rooms, which were assumed to be free from fecal contamination, but every single device tested positive. In short, there's nowhere to run, no place is safe. You can vomit up your own feces. This is the only time in my life I regretted knowing how to read. Guys, the seam on your scrotum is where your vagina would have been if you didn't have a Y chromosome. During sexual development, which starts in the womb, the flesh at this site fuses, forming that seam. When I was 6, I thought it was a zipper. As a kid, I thought I had surgery when I was very little, and my parents never told me about it. Vaginal lubrication is primarily made from blood plasma that seeps through the vaginal walls during arousal when blood flow increases. No wonder I've always thought of myself as a vampire. The external anal sphincter can distinguish and selectively pass gas or solid particles, if everything goes right. The problem arises when liquids come into play. Humans have the largest penis-to-body ratio among all primates. For reference, technically King Kong could have banged that girl he carried up the Empire State Building. If his body was proportionate, his penis, for a monkey that size, would be about 25 centimeters. The average gorilla penis is 6 centimeters, and King Kong's height is about 7.5 meters, which is 4 times that of an average Western gorilla. I rounded the numbers a bit, but the gist remains. When you ride roller coasters and it feels like your organs are moving, it's because they actually are moving since your rib cage is the only thing keeping them in place. Do the organs move up or down? How is there even room for them to shift? When they pulled my son out during my C-section, I felt my lungs and all my organs spread out, filling the empty space in my abdomen. Turns out, there's quite a bit of room in there. If an erection lasts for several hours, the blood starts to clot and solidify, reducing the oxygen supply to the tissues and potentially causing penile tissue ischemia. If the erection lasts more than 24 hours, the likelihood of developing erectile dysfunction afterward sharply increases. So, 23 hours is the absolute limit, got it? During an erection, the penis requires about 2 tablespoons of blood. What if mine is small? Then 2 teaspoons. If you hold your bladder long enough, you'll eventually wet yourself. However, you can hold in your poop as long as you want. There have been cases where people have vomited feces because of it. I think wetting yourself is much better than vomiting poop. Girls, try this on your guys. Grab his left thigh and you'll see his left testicle rise. Then grab his right thigh, and his right testicle will rise. Finally, grab both thighs, and both testicles will rise. I discovered this trick by accident. From what I understand, it's a reflex, kind of a protective mechanism for the testicles. Edited. If you try this on yourself, it won't work. It's like tickling. It has to be done by someone else. An erect penis can increase up to 5 times its size, but that doesn't mean it will become very large. Unfortunately, 5 times 1 is still 5. The foreskin is not just a piece of skin. Its inner side has a special mucous membrane, similar to the inside of your cheek. The tip contains a group of densely packed nerve endings, making it the most sensitive part of the penis. You can use a woman's vaginal yeast discharge to make bread. And the penis, well, actually, my penis is more like a small clitoris. Sperm is produced and stored in the testicles. This requires the temperature in the testicles to be lower than inside the body. That's why the scrotum is located outside the body. The anus can tear in half, like a paper towel. Yes, that can happen if 3 raccoons get in there. So, 2 raccoons are the maximum. And a Jolly Rancher. There is a procedure where doctors press on the tip of the penis while inserting a finger into the anus. If the anal sphincter tries to close when the tip is pressed, it means the body's reflexes are still working. Sometimes this method is used to check for spinal cord damage after an accident. The most messed up fact I know: during a kidney transplant, the old kidneys are usually not removed from the body, they remain inside. In the Netherlands, there's a guy who holds the world record for the number of kidneys in a body. He currently has 7. There are many excellent articles on this topic. Intrusive thoughts are entirely normal and happen to everyone. Obsessiveness that causes attention disruption and stress can be related to OCD, but the thoughts themselves are normal. Apparently, most such thoughts occur because the part of the brain responsible for safety and decision-making essentially tests itself. But these tests happen so quickly that it may seem like your brain wants to perform the action. For example, the thought, "I could jump in front of this train," as it approaches the station is entirely normal. It's not a sign of suicidal intent but rather your brain considering various scenarios when faced with potential danger. These processes might seem illogical, but if your brain couldn't imagine your terrible death on the tracks, you would be at greater risk if you were just walking around the platform absent-mindedly. Stress related to intrusive thoughts is especially common among new parents, but it's often difficult for people to talk about it openly because they fear judgment. People constantly imagine how they could harm their child and think they are monsters for even having such thoughts. But in reality, it's just the brain running through potential dangers and how they could happen quickly. I.e., if you did a certain action right now. Yes, it feels awful. But it's just your brain saying, "Warning, danger. Think about what you're doing," and this signal happens so fast that it feels like an urge to act. If you're troubled by intrusive thoughts, read up on them and strategies to manage them. If you're experiencing significant stress and suffering because of this, a doctor or therapist might help. You might have OCD or something similar. It's not like a really powerful fact, but it's not just the hair on your head that goes gray. I don't know why, but I never thought about it. I'm 30, and I didn't realize that my pubic hair would turn gray too. This fact hit me harder than it should have. Human stomach acid is so strong it can dissolve most metals. However, our bodies are protected from it by the mucus lining the intestines. Well, speak for yourself. For example, I slowly digest myself a little bit every day. I'm tasty. Sorry, what disease is that? Crohn's disease. The mucous membrane of my digestive tract thins and wears away into patches that get larger and deeper over time. Eventually, if untreated, holes can form in the GI tract. My body is like the never-ending story, slowly being consumed by the nothing. Does this mean I need a new name? About 57% of all missed workdays in the UK are due to depression, anxiety, or stress. Employee absenteeism for these reasons costs employers £2.4 billion a year. In the US, 83% of workers suffer from work-related stress, costing American businesses $300 billion a year in lost productivity. The most commonly cited causes of this problem include a toxic work environment, excessive workload, lack of support, limited growth potential, low pay, and employers not considering work-life balance. A lot of guys jerk off in the bathroom stalls at work. I worked for a cleaning company, and one of the buildings we cleaned had a problem with the stall dividers always being smeared with snot. The female manager told us about this issue, noting it only happened in the men's restrooms. Thank you for watching. What unusual facts about the human body do you know? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.